step up and go like this, you can see my arm extend.
Yep, and then Mikey, as soon as he's going to take,
and then when he
takes Zane behind his back with his hands, Mikey's gonna go up and drop kick Simo onto the locker.
So we start out with pre-production, like script writing, analyzing a lot of movies, seeing how they kind of set out like the different plot points. And then after that, we go through writing the scripts, revising them a little bit, casting our crew.
That's impossible. She gives me a detention if I breathe too loud.
Actually, you want something? I'll DoorDash you right now.
We did auditions for, I think, Lila, Ava, who were both amazing. And we were like, yeah, so we're stealing you.
Over a dozen? That's twice as many members as the losers in the cardigan club.
Hey, Sheila, that's not very kind.
Sorry.
See, it's contagious. We have to do something.
Then you start brainstorming ideas for how shots are gonna go. So you don't start filming like right away, which is actually kind of nice because you can kind of get a fuller picture of what your movie is gonna be before you actually start shooting it.
Is that the Jackmobile?
So the Jackmobile, we brought that in the first day over February break. We tried to bring it through 2 different doors before we decided to send it through the health door. We then sent it up the elevator.
That was easily the hardest part.
We had to send the elevator up multiple times.
Riding down the ramp, that was my favorite one. I almost hit him, Simo, but that was not on purpose. That was on the acting.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go for a little joyride?
Yeah. Oh, be careful, Simo. I was trying to brake, but he was right there. Oh, I wasn't gonna hit him.
Oh yeah,
That looks good.
That looks so good.
Okay, yeah. And then I'm gonna get like another just right angle.
I feel like I mostly either had the handheld or like a monopod where Riley had the tripod. And I feel like it was a lot of just like communication was like on what shots we want to get. And I also feel like sometimes it made our life easier, sometimes it made it harder, but like I feel like mostly it was easy because we could kind of like double down on a scene and like, okay, I'll do reaction shots for St. Martin if you get like this of Salmons or something like that, and just kind of all like rotating basically.
Yeah, we try to make it a little vintagey. Like we went thrifting for like clothing especially. We were able to use like newspapers and like really like kind of dress the set, so I was happy we were able to do that. We had some long nights, some fun nights, but late nights.
It's for the art direction.
It's 9 p.m. right now. We've been here for 2 hours.
Me and Dad have been here since like 6:15.
God,
It's at my grandma's house, my Mimi.
Those are probably the hardest shots to do. We spent, one of the tracking shots, we spent 4 days practicing, just prepping and redoing it over and over again. And coordinating everyone together for those long tracking shots is difficult, but a lot of repetition and we got there. So the night before, I texted Kara and I asked if she could figure out some way to do some like gore makeup on the nerd. And she was like, I'll watch some YouTube videos, I'll practice on my mom and I'll get back to you. So she came in with like lipstick and
eyeshadow.
Yeah. And basically we called Kara over and they worked for like 10 minutes. They're pretty quick. And they just worked for 10 minutes and they got the nerd all messed up. He looked great.
This is bad as it looks. Cut. Dylan, that's what I like to see.
Last year, I made a kind of a proof of concept for a short film It was like this person walks up these stairs and then pops out on the landing on top. It's like a portal situation where eventually he can't escape the staircase. As we kept going though, we started realizing it was getting super complicated. Actually, I had done a animatic, which is between a storyboard and an actual animation, where you have like a moving storyboard showing out like the choreography and stuff. And I was showing Mr. Conley and talking about what he thought about it. And looking at that, he said, can you do an animation? At first I said no, because it would be extremely complicated and take a lot of time. Eventually we came back around to, actually, you know what, this could be doable. I did a test shot over the weekend. It was like literally 4 frames. Having done that, Kaylin traced it in digitally. We photo scanned it, and then she traced it in like drawing software and made it a GIF. So that's kind of how we started on an animation. At this time, we didn't entirely know what it was. I spent some time researching like old Disney cartoons, like Oswald the Rabbit. Was a huge influence in this, as well as like older Mickey Mouse cartoons. We were going back to the silent film era, so we wanted to capture that style because it's campy in a different way than cartoons are nowadays. So we originally based our concept for the story on a specific Oswald cartoon called Trolley Troubles. We were trying to figure out who this character was going to be, because if we just picked something, it wasn't going to work. We started with a pig. We had this pig.
Walter.
Yeah, his name was Walter. He was adorable. And he would have been great, but he didn't work for this. We need someone with more energy, I feel like. So we eventually just started drawing caricatures of random animals, and Lenny kind of came out of that. We looked at some reference for actual lemurs. And eventually we kind of went down towards more of a original Mickey Mouse or Oswald style.
What we're doing right now is exactly what the Walt Disney Company did for, I don't know, until they stopped making 2D animations, with the exception, I mean, the equipment's slightly different, but.
Yeah, so when we did that test of the smoke sequence over February break and we saw that go through, it just worked, and it was just cool. The animations were made on paper, but they can't stay on paper. It would look like a sketch. And so what we're doing differently is we have static sets. They're just images that we layer the animations on top of. The purpose of the plastic sheets was to put them on top of the paper ones and transfer the lines from that using an oil paint pen. And you flip them over, paint in the back, and then once that's dry, you put it on top of the set, take a picture from above. Once you crop it in post, you have an animation. Like, I assumed that you have to make sure everything was exactly the same every time. No, it's like, as long as you're mostly there, it looks fine. You don't notice anything. And so that was not hard. But the hardest part was kind of crunching and getting all of the cells transferred and painted. I realized that we needed more help. So we had 9 animators and we got all the sequences done. It was amazing. We got this huge room in the lower level of Blackburn, and we got a lot of people. There's something like 680 individual photographs, but that doesn't equal cells. We had 400 clear plastic sheets to work with. We used a bunch for testing, and I think we might have gone a little over 400. I wanted to try and keep things as authentic as possible. And in cartoons, what they do is, they didn't have digital stuff, and a lot of times, some of the sounds were too wonky to go out and just record in nature. So they'd have to come up with these contraptions or whatever. I did a broom on top of a piece of insulation foam. Or a lot of times the characters would just play things like an instrument, and an example people will know. Steamboat Willie. He played different things like a xylophone. So we had a part where the coals going into the firebox walk by, and Lenny's playing them like an instrument. I worked with Sam. Sam also animated earlier. She does percussion in band, and she's really amazing. She could play like almost everything we talked about. We actually played a marimba.
One, now.
Sorry, I don't need to push you.
No, do it. I don't care.
It's a lesson I learn every year, and then I always forget it before the next year, just how long filming takes. I'd always be like, let's go in, get this scene done. It's like only a few shots and then get out of there. And then an hour goes by and we're only halfway through the scene, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, where did all the time go? So yeah, I'm learning it now, and then I guarantee I'll forget it by next year. And first day of filming, I'm gonna be like, all right, we have this massive scene, and then, oh, nope, we're out of time.
Well, me and Joey have been friends since first grade, and everyone always says, they're like, oh my God, you guys work so well together. And I'm like, you do not see us. Like, we like would scream at each other.
Papaya Crew went through some challenges, making sure people didn't get haircuts or bleach their hair. Jacob decided to get a haircut for hockey, and he bleached it and cut it all the way. So we got her go.
Remember, look at me, okay? Shut up! That's what you gotta say. Remember, you want to be aggressive with it, okay? Yeah, it's okay.
I'm not gonna say, but he knows the word I'm talking about. Well, I said, is it all right for me to say? And he said, go ahead.
Remember, you want to be more aggressive, so you can do any action.
Are you sure I can say that word?
Yes, you can say it.
And I said, okay, and that's what I had to say. Shut up! No,
Cut.
I can hear my echo from that. And I'm like punching, and then he whipped my arm, and then that's why I hit the doorknob. Dude! Ow! That a little hurt.
Nerd, wide shot 12, take one.
Yeah, this is a funny story because the first time we did that shot, I had Andrew stand very close behind the camera, and I said action. I clicked record, but our card was full. So the camera never actually recorded. There wasn't enough space, and Andrew throws super hard. He's way too close to be throwing that hard. And I didn't really know how to tell them that the camera never actually recorded, so we never actually got any of that footage. I was just like, let's go again.
And maybe that'll put you over the top.
Cut. Sorry. Okay. Can we cut that? Just cut.
This time, and I don't know, it's like all over the place. Anywho, I don't. Go again? Monkey, get this.
Perfect. We just.
Jacob, I swear to God.
This rock! You can't do this!
Cut.
Here.
¿Pensaste que podías escaparte de mí?
Oh, Miss Bacon was great. Miss Bacon actually, she was even like, oh, I might take me 2 tries to get this. And the first try, I just nailed it. Like, she was really good. I think mine has to be working with Mr. Camper. When I wrote his lines, I knew they'd come out great.
Spike the ball in their face! Oh my God, your generation, I'm done with them.
I can't sleep.
This is why teachers are leaving the workforce.
With Mr. Kim, it was amazing. I think every shoot, we came back laughing. When people see this movie, they're gonna think.
They're gonna think it's a documentary.
Yeah, a documentary. He would just randomly start looking at the camera and just start, I don't know.
The camera gave him confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, myself. Cause I don't think that they'd understand. We're just a bunch of kids going to science class. Gonna put some stuff in some test tubes. You know what's a really good word? Bunsen burner.
He put a lot of work into it. He's a great actor.
It's an artistic movie in complete silence of just shots of me like this.
He really put his all into everything.
Yeah,
He really
definitely.
yeah. And his improv was really good.
Yep.
Can I just do some tribal dance? Or should I do one of these?
I'll try something. Oh my god, guys, really good idea. Maybe I run and I push Matthew into that in his face, and then I waterboard him, and his face and then I start choking him.
Yeah.
Oatmeal raisin? Get lost!
I worked with him a lot because we did most of the cinematography, so we literally had to work with Balkas and tell him, okay, stand there, stand there, stand there. And he was very giggly until the camera started, and then he was like...
Hey, what do you mean, no? Don't you appreciate kindness?
He went from normal Balkas to film pissy Balkas back to normal Balkas.
Take one. Action.
Bananas! Apples! Oranges!
And I think every single person on the cast was super talented. Mr. Mulaney was obviously great. The more takes you gave him, the better he would just do it. He would just get better and better. You let him cook and he'll cook, or he'll bake. I don't know. There were a few times where he'd be like, "We need cookies for this scene. Can you bake a batch of cookies?" And then he brings them, and we're just kind of like, "All right, yeah, we might use these, but we pop a few." They're actually so good. It's absurd. They are to die for. Mr. O'Malley's not been seen since. Mr. Connolly always has something to say. I'll just be editing. Maybe I pause it on a certain frame where my face doesn't look fantastic, and he's just like, "Yep, that's probably the best photo you've ever taken." And it's just like, I'm trying to edit my movie, and he always comes over and just has something to say. It's really annoying.
I mean, I think he's really a wannabe Mr. Allen, and I'm looking right at the camera when I say this.
He and Mr. Allen are very different.
Mr. Allen and Mr. Conley are good cop, bad cop. It's almost like some people will be afraid to say something to Mr. Allen, so they'll say it to Mr. Conley. I feel like that's how I picture it.
Yeah, but even then, Mr. Conley,
he can be kind of scary too.
He criticizing.
Yeah, he'd criticize in a sweeter tone than Mr. Allen.
He's kind of just it's definitely an idea, or it's definitely a shot.
If there's somehow a little issue or a little bit of a problem, he'll kind of lower his voice so Mr. Allen won't hear, so he'll kind of work through the issue before it's an actual issue.
Yeah, Mr. Connolly is probably the one to be like, well, maybe this is the best choice, and Mr. Allen will be the one to be like, no.
Yeah, I'd say he's positive. He's fun to be in the class, and yeah.
A more laid back, fun vibe.
And a beard.
And a beard. If there was an award in the film fest for best beard, it would go to him every year.
He's a great guy, and you can always count on him to help you with something, help you with the shoot, editing, anything.
I don't think I've met a better supporter than Mr. Connolly.
Ditto.
I call him the guidance counselor for the film festival. He was always there to support you. Anything you want.
You want it, you got it. Yeah. Mr. Conley.
Oh, it's 1978. I'm in one of those four. Let me see what my glasses are.
The outfits. Oh my god, the clothes.
Yeah. This is when the Gap first opened up.
So I learned that Mr. Connor was going to just have one more year left after this year. And I knew that bird was obviously being torn down, so I was thinking it would be nice to have Mr. Connor in one last movie. So all I had was a title. I had The Bird Turd.
Kids who went to Bird were the Bird Turds, and kids who went to Johnson were the Johnson Jerks. Doesn't really get said very much anymore, but it is. He said, "This is the last year you can film this movie."
It was difficult working around his schedule this year because we would send the kids to Bird when we met last block, and then he would have to like kind of navigate around meetings and stuff like that, but he made sure that the movie got done. I mean, Mr. Connor's been such a big part of the festival during kind of its formative years 4 to 14 or something like that. Always willing to do whatever.
I think he had a 10-year span where he was in every movie, in like 3 or 4 movies a year, whether it's a small role, a big role. You know, he always was open to it, and I think that's something that is asking a lot more than maybe the people sitting there watching or understand. You know, so much time goes into this and he was willing to put that time in, and I think that speaks volumes just to his character.
He's just one of those guys that you watch him in all the older movies, and then you finally get to work with him, and you're like, this is kind of surreal. Just like, he just knows his lines, he can nail them. You can ask him to do any emotion, and he will do it perfectly.
The best thing about acting is overacting.
He's not afraid to be goofy.
You know, it's like he treats me like I'm the assistant principal.
Put on stupid costumes, but if he needs to like turn around and be serious, he can do that as well.
You know, I don't want to say that we invented Mr. Connor, but we pretty much did. The Peach Crew gave him his first big break with the code. It was so funny. Honestly, we ruined a lot of the takes because we were just laughing so hard at how good he was and how serious he was taking it.
Gotcha!
Full Windsor was a great role for him.
So, any of the kids giving you any trouble?
Oh, no. They're all great.
Good. Because if any one of them gives you trouble, just smack them. You get one freebie. After that, I have to report it.
Oh, okay.
The Full Windsor was such a good script written by really a kid that couldn't write much at all. I mean, like, barely string a sentence together, Nick Piccirilli. And so it was remarkable that he was able to construct the script to begin with, and I gave it to him, and it was just such a good role. And I was like, I think you're gonna end up on stage if you perform this role the right way, and he did.
I'm really happy right now.
And so, I mean, he was a staple for so many years that I just knew that those kids working with him got that same taste as what we did.
And it's honestly really depressing that he's not here anymore, because like, I feel like if he was, he would still be in every single movie because people just keep wanting to put him in.
If you want to beat the game, you have to figure it out yourself.
Oh.
Well, bye.
Like, I still go back and watch them because you can learn a lot from like how people did this. You can learn from Mr. Allen, Mr. Conley, he's trying to be fake Mr. Allen, or your crew, but even the movies too.
The longevity of the film festival, I think, is the greatest part of it.
Start early. Don't wait till your junior or senior year to join film.
If you really want to break out of your shell and you really want to come into yourself and really get to know yourself better, I don't think there's a better place in the school than the film festival.
The connections of the Walpole Film Festival and the memories you make go beyond just high school. You will remember these people from college and even into a career. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from the film festival that anyone could really take, is that you make these connections that will last a lifetime, not just a year.
Get the camera. Enough is enough.